Good morning.
Park Ranger Shanlin Boudreau welcomes us to the park and tells us about its history.
We're looking at this swimming pool. I didn't even realize that there were swimming pools in any state parks. What's the story with that?
Well, this swimming pool all started from back in the 30s when the Civilian Conservation Corps come through here and built this pool. And when they built that pool, they ended up putting in 2 pit toilets. The old pool was stream fed from a spring that comes out of this mountain right here, and it's just got great history.
This park is small but immaculate. It features one of the apple trees from the old days in 1880, and this monument, which at the time it was built used 1 stone from every one of Nevada's active mines.
You can tell that it's a very different sort of state park than you're used to seeing. So, well, why is it so different? What's the history behind it?
Samuel Kershaw and Hannah Kershaw come here in 1888, homestead this canyon. They started with an apple orchard and gardens over here, and then it was led to be known as Kershaw Gardens. From there, they ended up selling the place in 1904 to Mr. James Ryan. He was a cattle owner, and he ended up living up into this park for several years, and then after that, he ended up donating the park to the state of Nevada.
The Kershaw Gardens showcase a variety of plant species that don't normally grow in the Nevada desert. Samuel Kershaw originally planted non-native plants in his garden, and that tradition returned to the park in recent years thanks to head ranger Ferris Woods. For those that do prefer indigenous plants, there is much to see along the way of the Overlook Trail.
So now, do you use the same plants that Kershaw had in his gardens, or do you guys go out and do other vegetation as well?
Yeah, we do. We generally try to stick to the vegetation of what Kershaw had. They would have been apple tree, plum tree, pear tree, and peach trees that they had in here. And then after that, we have a lot of extra little flowers that we have going through the park just to make it, give it that sparkle and shine, you know.
Make it pretty. I imagine harvest time must be pretty exciting then in the park with all the fruit trees.
It is. In spring, you're just going nuts, planting flowers right and left, getting everything tied up, raking leaves, getting it look sharp.
There are over 15 different species of desert vegetation along the trail, everything from rubber rabbit brush to prickly pear cactus. Beyond that, there are incredible views of the valley on the way up and an overlook point at the end of the trail.
You know, we've moved away from the gardens, and the canyon walls now are just phenomenal. What kind of rock is this made out of?
This is all volcanic rock in this canyon. If you notice, right back where we come from, on the tops of these mountains is the volcanic rock.
Oh, yeah.
And then it eventually went down into volcanic ash like you see right here in the wash. And this canyon was formed from the volcanic eruption, and then later the erosion with the wind and the water that carved this canyon.
I'm curious about this path that we're walking on. It seems really well designed and maintained. What's the story with this?
This path was a 2-year project. My supervisor left and went to Cathedral Gorge. He got a grant and took care of this whole trail. It was a long, tedious project. We had CYC working with us and NDF, Nevada Division of Forestry, and they all helped and become a big part of getting this trail put in the ground.
How long is this path?
It's about a mile and a half, and they basically just went off of an old Mustang trail.
Huh.
You guys had a flood through the park not long ago, didn't you? Did it change the park much?
Yeah, it changed it quite a bit. The park was actually a third this size. Right here through the wash, you can actually see where the flood came through. When they come through on the reconstruction of Kershaw in '94, they ended up widening this wash, which took out quite a chunk of the old gardens that made Kershaw-Ryan. And it changed it dramatically. These lawns weren't here. It actually washed clear over and put nothing but boulders all the way down this wash. It was horrible. This park, ever since the early 1800s, it's been loved by the county. It's been taking care of the county clear up until 1960s, when the state actually had enough money to fund it and get personnel to come in through here and actually start working in it. So the county appreciates this park quite a bit. They look at it as their own little hidden spot in the hills, you know.
Do a lot of the locals use it?
A lot of locals use it. We sell tons.
Kershaw-Ryan State Park is a hidden jewel in eastern Nevada. It's a lush green oasis just waiting to be discovered, and we're grateful that we've had the chance to visit.